and slavery by King. On April 26, 1607, three ships from London crossed the Atlantic Ocean to land on the shores of the Chesapeake Bay. The ships carried English settlers to the new colony of Virginia. Right away, the settlers grew orange trees, potatoes, pumpkins, melons, and cotton plants. These early colonists could hardly imagine that cotton would become the single most important ingredient in America's economy before 1860. For centuries, people had produced goods by hand, but beginning around the middle of the 18th century in England, the invention of new power-driven machines transformed how people lived and worked. This simple change from hand-produced goods to those produced by power-driven machines is called a revolution, the Industrial Revolution. And these inventions fueled the growth of the textile industry. As the textile industry expanded, it needed more cotton. When the cotton plant matures, it opens in 4 sections to reveal a soft white fiber, and about 50 seeds are embedded inside this dense fiber. To use the fiber, the seeds, of course, have to be taken out. The cotton gin was invented to separate the seeds from the cotton and has existed for centuries. However, cleaning cotton with these gins was a painstaking process. Then, in 1794, a man named Eli Whitney invented a new form of gin altogether. The gin revitalized the Southern agriculture economy. The gin helped spark a boom in cotton production, as Southern farmers switched from growing other crops. By 1840s, cotton accounted for 1/2 of American exports, and the United States produced 60% of the world's supply. King Cotton had an immediate multiplier effect on the national economy. In its first decades, the cotton boom benefited almost everyone, except the African American slaves whose labor produced the white gold. Growing cotton was hard, tedious work. Planters didn't want to do this difficult work themselves. They wanted a cheap labor force. In the South, enslaved African Americans became that labor force. Cotton and slavery went hand in hand. I sure had a hard life. Just work and work and work. I never knew nothing but work. I never knew what it was to rest. I just worked all the time from morning till late at night. Sarah Gudger was born into slavery. When she was interviewed in 1937, she was indeed more than 100 years old when she told her story. Despite her age, Sarah Gudger hadn't forgotten the harsh treatment she had suffered so many years before. When she was asked about her life under slavery, she held out her arms and crossed her wrists to show how her hands had been tied before being whipped. Or else you tie your hands before your body and whip you, just like you're a mule. I've taken 1,000 lashes in my day. Sometimes my poor old body was sore for a week. Sarah Gudger also remembered how she worked until late at night, whatever the weather. Large plantations relied heavily on slaves to clear the land, break up the soil, chop the young cotton plants, pick tufts of fiber from spiky bolls, separate the seeds from the fiber, pack the fiber into bales, and load the bales onto wagons and boats. Slaves built America's cotton empire. By 1860, on the eve of the Civil War, 4 million bales of cotton were grown. These 4 million bales made cotton the most important export in the United States before the Civil War. Known as King Cotton, this one crop truly ruled. Although young children in America now don't labor in cotton fields and mills as they once did, harsh conditions for child workers still exist. In Uzbekistan, some children labor in cotton fields for 10 hours or more a day, picking cotton instead of attending school during harvest time. Many people made money as the cotton industry grew, but not the people who worked hardest at bringing those 4 million bales to market. The amazing growth of the cotton industry would not have been possible without the labor of 3 million enslaved men, women, and children who toiled day after day in the fields.